Hi everyone, as Corona sadly cancelled 5 out of the 6 gigs I was supposed to go to this year. So annoying. I love going to gigs, I absolutely love going to gigs, and over the years I've been to quite a few. Not as many as I would like to go to, because when I was younger I was obviously suffered with really bad anxiety and stuff. So I would only go to gigs if I could get someone to come with me, which sadly didn't always happen, so I missed quite a few that I would want to go to. But now I just go to gigs if I've not got anyone to go with. I just go by myself and you meet people and it's absolutely brilliant. So what I done last year is I put together these. So these are my tour and gig memory scrapbooks. So I thought that I would go through them all with you and kind of show you some pictures. Video is a wee bit sketchy because when was my first gig? The 2nd of October 2006, which obviously cameras back then for videoing, it was so like pixelated, but it might be quite fun to dig out old like pictures and videos from those gigs because it was insane. I went to my first gig when I was 14, and that's when my mum allowed me to go to my first gig. And also I have, if I can actually pick it up, I also have all the programs from the gigs I've been to, and this is heavy. So yeah, let's dive into some memories. So my first gig was the 2nd of October 2006, and it was McFly's Motion in the Ocean tour. And I've still got the ticket from the gig, and it was my first concert, and this one was really amazing for me, obviously being my first gig, but I was also recovering from extreme asthma attacks when I was 14. So I couldn't jump up and down, I couldn't scream, I couldn't do anything because I would literally collapse because my lungs were that damaged. And my mum actually had to have a medic standing near me at all times during the gig, but I still enjoyed it so much. And here is the program from that gig. I still have it. Let's look at, oh my god, they look so different, but oh my god, yeah, it was an amazing gig. And I always remember in the front of the program, this got me: the band does not accept any responsibility for the words and actions of Dougie Pointer. Any complaints should be forwarded to the Alok Alok Company. Many thanks, McFly. I remember opening that and I was just like, yes, this is gonna be a good tour. But oh my god, like, that was amazing. I still remember that gig very well. My second gig was also McFly, and yes, I still have the ticket from that one as well. That was on the 8th of April 2007, and obviously it was McFly's Up Close and Personal tour. I always remember that one because I have a video of Dougie singing from that one and I remember it very well. And this is a tour program from it, and I remember this gig very well, and it was really good. And it was at the Edinburgh Playhouse that I went to see them, which is obviously, anyone who knows the Playhouse is a very quite small, compact venue. There's some of the stuff in the program. So yeah, your seats are really quite close together and you've not got that much room, so you couldn't really like jump up and down and stuff, which was a bit sad, but because of the venue. But it was a really good gig. So the next one that I went to was the 26th of November 2007, and it was McFly's Greatest Hits. This one, I remember the whole controversy around this, them doing the greatest hits. There's some of the stuff in the program. Because everyone was like, oh, it's their greatest hits, it means they're ending. And so this was great fun because they played like loads of different songs, and it was my 16th birthday present, and it was my first time seeing a B stage. So they had like, that was the first time I'd really seen them do that, where they were on the stage at the front and then they come to a B stage at the back. So we were closer to them, so I got some amazing shots of them, and that was amazing. 23rd of August 2008, I saw Britain's Got Talent, and that was the year George Sampson won. And yeah, I remember that tour very well, and it was like, had George Sampson, Escala, what was the name of that? Oh, what were they called again? What were they called? Oh, them. Sign a Tour. Them. I forgot their names. But yeah, I remember that one very well. And it was so much fun. Stephen Mulhern presented it. And I remember Britain's Got Talent, they done a tour like every year. I saw them like, I've still got all the programmes from all of the ones I went to. And I'm glad they don't do that anymore, because that was so much fun, seeing everyone who was on the final. And they used to come to the Edinburgh Playhouse, which is where I saw them. And it was always great to see even the people who didn't make it to the final. Some of them would be on the tour, and it was always great fun and such a laugh. So yeah, 23rd of October 2008, and that was Elliott Manor. And yes, I absolutely loved Elliott Manor. I still love Elliott Manor. And it was so much fun. My friend came up from Wales, and we waited outside the venue, and we met them, and oh, it was such a good gig. And I remember it was at the Liquid Room in Edinburgh, and it was my first time being in a standing venue. And I remember like a mosh pit starting and me getting crushed. I was only like 16 at the time. And yeah, it was so much fun to be at a gig, and we met loads of people outside, and we all had a laugh, and it was a really good show. And it was nice to be in a nice small venue. It's my first time experiencing that. So it was great fun. 25th of November 2008. It's my the day after my 17th birthday actually. So I went to that. It was the Radioactive tour. There's the program and the iconic microphone. And yeah, that was so much fun. It was one of my favourite albums, I think, with the Radioactive. It was such a great gig. I think my mum came with me to that one, and my mum loves McFly, and she was singing the words to like all the songs. And I remember she had to go to work the next day, and her boss was like to her, "Why do you have no voice?" Because my mum lost her voice in the gig, and she was like, "I was at a McFly gig last night." But my mum still loves to come to gigs with me. I still go with her. And this is some of the stuff in the programme, if people remember. As you can tell, I'm definitely, a McFly fan. But yeah, I think I'm biased. I'm a McFly fan. I think all of their gigs are absolutely amazing. I remember giving my mum my camera when during the concert, because I was filming. I think was I filming with my phone or my little flip camera or something. I was filming, and I gave my mum my camera, and I was like, "Take some pictures," and she took this picture of me watching McFly, and I was just like I'm still like that at gigs. I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? I miss gigs. 19th of October 2009 was when I met Elliott Manor again. Well, again, I think this was my third time actually meeting them, at the H&V, which was on Princess Street, sadly no longer there. But yeah, I had a fractured elbow at the time, so you can see me in the picture with my wee arm in my sling. But yeah, that was great. That was an album signing, which I also loved going to album signings. It was great to get stuff signed. And I still have the album signed. 28th of November 2009. It was my 18th birthday. Well, a few days after my 18th. My birthday is the 24th of November, and I kind of liked being in Scotland. Well, I do like being in Scotland, because normally gigs would come around November when they were doing a tour. So it was always like, birthday present, I want to go to this gig. That was at the H&V Picture House. And I remember me and my friend, we were walking back to my car. I think we were going to rest in the car before the gig, and we were walking past the tour bus, and we saw, who was it we saw outside? Ed, Teddy and Dan. And we were walking past, And we walked straight past them, and I was like to my friend Nita, I was like, is that them? And she was like, I don't know. We kind of stopped and we turned back, and we saw them looking at us, because obviously we had our Elliot Minor hoodie and that on under our jackets. And I was like, I think it's them. We went back and got pictures for them. But I remember there was a stage invasion with like flower and toilet roll, and it was great fun. We had reserved seats at the back because of me and my friend's anxiety. So we just done that instead of standing at the gig. 22nd of June 2009 was Britain's Got Talent again. If I can find, there it is. That was the one with Susan Boyle on it. And I remember I got a lot of slate online because I said Susan Boyle at this performance wasn't as great. But learning what I know about her now, that's why she wasn't great, because of she's got autism or Asperger's, one of the two. And I remember I got slated online because I personally am not a fan of Susan Boyle. It's not the type of style of music I like, but because I said that, I got a lot of slate. And Joyce Sampson was at this one as well, and presented by Stephen Mulhern again. He's great presenting live shows, so funny. But yeah, who else was on there? Sean Smith was there. Who else was there? Holly Steele. But yeah, like I said before, I absolutely loved, 2 Grand. They were great. I absolutely loved the Britain's Got Talent tours. That one had diversity in it. Diversity, I still love them. They were amazing. 9th of July 2010 was Britain's Got Talent again, and that one was quite weird because obviously we were at the Playhouse and Susan Boyle actually sat near us while we were watching it, and I remember everyone just started cheering at her coming in, and that was great. There's the 2010 programme. I can't actually remember. Twist and Pulse. And it was Paddy McGuinness, not Stephen Mulhern this year. Yeah, it was great. Like, every year it was great. Who won that year? There was Spellbound there as well. But yeah, great fun. And the reaction when Susan Boyle walked in was something else. 7th of November 2010, I did go see Jedward. Where was that again? Edinburgh, Queen's Hall, Edinburgh. And I really liked Jedward on the X Factor. I liked that they were controversial. I liked that people didn't like them. I liked that every single week they got stick. And they actually did put on a great show. The only thing that really creeped me out about that show was right at the front of the stage, there was these really like older women, like old enough to be their mums. And they had like, I remember there was this woman, she had this like Jedward headband on and she was like screaming at them. And Jedward would have been 2010, so I was 18, nearly 19. So they would have been 19 at that time. And I remember thinking, this is so awkward. But they handled it really well, and they did put on a really energetic show. So it was actually great fun. 23rd of March 2011 was McFlat again. What one was this? The Above the Noise tour. And I do have a video of what me and my friend shouted to Dougie at that gig.
Dougie, show me your pointer!
Yep, Dougie, show us your pointer. Classic. But yeah, this show was great. Oh shit, I forgot this. In the programme. It was like everyone, this is when they done the Super City thing, and it was like everyone's photos made into, can you even see that? Everyone's photos made into a big poster of them. I've forgotten that. I forgot they'd done that. And there is the Super City, like you got to like do a meet and greet with them if you were like the pioneers of Super City. Unfortunately, I never was because I didn't have the money to pay for that at the time. But yeah, it was great fun, and the whole Super City thing was really cool, and the stage was set up awesome. They always had amazing stage setups. But yeah, that was great fun. 16th of June 2011 was, I think this was the last time we actually saw Britain's Got Talent, if I can find the programme for that one. And yeah, it was weird because we didn't know it was going to be the last time they'd done it, and I think it was Stephen Mulhern back again. Yeah, Stephen Mulhern again. And yeah, that one I don't really remember that show that much, just because I was in a really bad place myself. But yeah, it was always a great night out for me and Mum, seeing Britain's Got Talent. And yeah, we were gutted on 2012 when they didn't announce a tour. I was like, where's the tour gone? 25th of June 2011, I went with my boyfriend at the time down to London O2 to see Glee. I do have the Glee programme, and I have never watched Glee in my life. And I hadn't back then. I wasn't a fan of Glee. He was. So yeah, it was actually a really good show, even though I had absolutely no idea who anyone is. I've still never watched Glee. My mum and dad were like, oh, you're not going to watch Glee now as you've been to the show, but it's not really my thing. But it was an amazing experience. It was amazing being in the O2. I'd never been in a venue that big before. And it was a great experience, and it was an amazing show. And I obviously, because they cover songs, I did know songs. So yeah, it was great fun. 1st of November 2011 was the Katy Perry gig. Oh my god. It was funny because this gig I booked to surprise the boyfriend that I went to see Glee with, but he broke up with me before, so I went with my friend instead of him. He was like, oh, you're still gonna go? And I'm like, of course I'm still gonna go. And Katy Perry was absolute amazing. This was her tour. It was the Teenage Dream tour. And this programme, should I say, it's absolute amazing. I have never, I think it was like 20 quid or something ridiculous, but I have never in my life seen a tour programme as amazing as this one. It was just, it's thick paper as well. And the concert was insane. I have never been to a concert like that in my life. I was just in awe of it. The dancing, the singing, the whole put together of the show. And I did get squirted by her foam. It nearly went in my eye. And I caught one of her gold coins that she put out to the audience. 8th of May 2012 was the 2020 gig. That was great fun. I went with my friend who was actually pregnant at the time. I think she was like 6 months pregnant at the time, which was quite funny, seeing all the little like teenagers' reactions. Why are you coming when you're pregnant? But it was so much fun. We just stood on the benches at the back, and we met them afterwards, which was great fun. And we actually met the other band that was supporting them, Future Proof. We met them and we bought a ticket to their show off them. Obviously my friend didn't buy a ticket because she was pregnant and she would have given birth by then. But it was so much fun. It was in the King's Tut's Wawa Hut, and that was obviously a really small venue, which is always a really amazing atmosphere in these small venues. Then the next gig was the 2nd of July 2012, which was the Future Proof gig from when I bought the tickets off the guys at the 2021. And that one, I got a VIP upgrade to meet them. And unfortunately, the friend I took with me, she had a seizure during the start of the gig, so we had to call a medic and then we had to leave. So we only saw the first couple of songs, which was gutting, and for both of us, and she really wasn't well and having a seizure at that gig. 19th of August 2012, I went. It was during the Edinburgh Festival. We went to see Russell Kane, and we actually bumped into him at the assembly rooms where the gig was. There was a bit of a thingy about that, because the performance that he was supposed to do was supposed to be the day before, but there was like sound problems, so they moved it to the next day, and which was a bit of a, yeah, up in the air, but it was so funny. He's such a funny guy, and I'd definitely see him again. 10th of October 2012 was Vince Kidd from The Voice. And I actually travelled down to Manchester to see him before, but I can't remember when that was just after the Voice. But this was in Glasgow, O2 ABC, and I actually met him afterwards. My photo with him is absolute awkward. It's awkward because I was really ill. I was recovering from labyrinthitis, and I'd not long had my allergic reaction to anti-sickness drugs, and that made my eyes lock at the top of my head. So as you can see in the photo, I'm like, it's because I was still really, really ill from that allergic reaction. 5th of December 2012 was Dappy. And I remember me and my friend, we got such stick from these girls behind us because we were like, oh, Dappy, like, he was like, he can't really sing, but I thought like he was a good performer, and these girls behind me like absolutely came at us. But it was a really funny gig. Yeah, it was an experience. 15th of March 2013 was Ollie Mez. Where's Ollie Mez? There's the tour programme from that one. Me and my mum went to this one. My mum loves Ollie Murs. And this was, I think this was the last gig that I went to in the SECC. And yeah, I remember thinking he had these stairs that he walked down, and I remember thinking he's gonna fall down those stairs, but he didn't. It was great fun seeing him, and it was surprising my mum for her birthday, because her birthday was actually in May, but I said to her because she really wanted to go that I'd buy her the tickets and we'd go see Ollie Murs for her birthday. 11th of March 2014 was Russell Howard, which was so funny. That was the first time being in the Hydro, because we've been seeing it being built for years. There is the programme from this one. And just the atmosphere is so much, it feels so much bigger. I'm not sure if it actually is, but I think it is bigger than the SECC. But yeah, it was amazing environment, so funny. I would definitely go see him again. And it was a really nice night out. 16th of May 2014 was the McBusted tour. And this one again was with my mum for her birthday, because she loved Busted, and she actually loves McFly too. So we went to see them, and it was so much fun. They had this like McBusted and fire that came down. There's some stuff from the programme. And I had always wanted to see Busted, and my mum had said to me, oh, you can see Busted. And that was in December, and they split in the January, I think. And I was absolutely gutted, because Busted was going to be my first gig if they hadn't have split. But yeah, it was, I'd always wanted to see them, and the fact that they done McBusted and it gave me a chance to see them. This is obviously before we knew Busted was doing a comeback. I was just so ecstatic, and hearing the Busted songs being played as McBusted was amazing. May 2016 was Busted. Thanks Comply tour. We didn't see this coming, but yeah, absolute amazing. I was so excited. There's a programme from it, and I went by myself, and I met James's brother Chris there, and yeah, it was such a great atmosphere. The excitement was just crazy. And I will never forget that night. The absolute insane. I actually went to work I think it was the next day, and I'd actually lost my voice completely for like 2 days after that. And I remember the guy that I was supporting laughing at me all the time, and I'm like, don't laugh at me, I have no voice. I'm sure I filmed my voice.
Just got back from seeing Busted, and I had a blast, as you could tell by my voice. I can't talk and I can't hear because I've had so much fun.
Yeah, it was crazy. I've never screamed so much in my life. 26th of October 2016 was Chris Bourne, and I was supposed to do the sound check with him, but I was late leaving work, and then I got stuck in traffic, and then I missed it, and the people at the venue were like, but you were meant to be at the sound check. I'm like, oh no, it's fine. I was just late leaving work. I'd finished like a 27-hour shift at work, and they actually offered me to stay for the week after get together thing. And it was so much fun. It was in obviously Glasgow O2 ABC, which is a really small venue. A great gig, great guy. 25th of February 2017 was Busted at the Usher Hall, which was amazing. I was at the very, very front and in front of Matt. And I remember this girl, she took her bra off and threw it. And she was standing right behind me, and she was pushing me into the barrier, and she had her tits that were like right on my head, and I'm like this. And Matt's looking at me going, are you okay? And I'm like, oh my, like getting completely crushed. And because of my height, I was like right up at the barrier. But I've never been right at the front of a gig before, and it was absolute amazing, so much fun. And I met Chris there as well beforehand, and I managed to catch Matt's song sheet, and the woman behind me who was like pushing me all the time tried to grab it, and I just put my hand up and I'm like, no, grabbed it. And there's these other girls that are like, thank God that you caught that. She's like, this woman has been annoying us the whole gig. And I'm like, yeah, that was awful, like just being shoved into a barrier. 3rd of March 2017 was Olimez again. Where's the 2017 one? This one. This was so much fun. Me and my mum singing, and yeah, Ollie just puts on such a great tour. His music is quite, I was gonna say old-fashioned, but he always puts on such an amazing show with it that it's great. You can't be sad in that sort of environment. He's always got such a great energy, and there's the back of it. And me and my mum always have an absolute blast at his gigs, absolute blast. 14th of April 2018, I saw Harry Styles. He didn't actually have a programme, but he had this wee picture book for this tour, which had pictures from obviously the doing of the album. I was actually kind of gutted he didn't have an actual tour programme, but I got this instead. I was sceptical. Now, I remember buying this ticket, I was at work, and the conversation of Harry Styles came up with a colleague. I was like, wonder if he's going on tour. So I kind of like looked it up, and I'm like, oh, he's in Glasgow. I'm like, should I buy a ticket? I was like, I'm not really sure. I loved his song Sign of the Times. I wasn't really a One Direction fan. I liked some of their songs, but I wasn't an actual fan. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to buy a ticket. And my colleague says his album's like really good. So I bought a ticket, and I just absolutely fell in love with him. I thought his tour was so good. I was a bit kind of like, what is it going to be like on his own? His album's a really different style to 1D. But he came on in a kill, and he put on such a show. It was so much fun. And this was my favourite moment from the gig. He was chatting and interacting with the crowd the whole night. And this is my favourite clip ever.
Where are you from? What? Texas. All right. Cool. How long are you in Scotland for? 2 hours? More than that. 2 hours. You should go. Are you enjoying Scotland? What do you mean, no? less of that. Not that you don't deserve it, to be honest. You're into piece of advice. Don't say that. Oh, well, it's cold. Sorry. Have a nice trip back to Texas. Thanks for being with us.
It's just the way he goes, Texas? Alright. And then when they said that they don't like Scotland because it was too cold, it was a laugh. It was a laugh. 6th of August 2018, I met the Lost Voice guy who won Britain's Got Talent. Oh my god, he's such a laugh. He's such a laugh. And it was absolute a pleasure to meet him. He's an amazing guy, and I hope obviously when gigs and tours open up again, I would love to see him again at the festival, because he was just absolutely brilliant. I went with my mum, and me and my mum were sitting right at the front, and we had an utter laugh. It was a great night. 24th of October 2018, I went to see 5 Seconds of Summer. 5 Seconds of Summer was an odd one because I wasn't a fan of them beforehand. I actually became a fan after they released their song Young Blood. It was actually, I was at work and I was with a girl I support, and she went to dance space, and they were learning a dance routine to the song Young Blood by 5 Seconds of Summer, and I was like, to the girl who takes the class, I'm like, what song is this? It's so catchy. So she told me, and I downloaded it on Spotify, and I was like, this song's amazing. This album's like amazing. Like, their albums are amazing. I was like, I need to see these guys, and luckily they were coming to Edinburgh, so I went to see them, and it was a treat for myself after I got my wisdom teeth out, and it was great laugh. 23rd of March 2019 was when I met Busted. I still smile about this. It was great. Great guys, and James actually recognised me, which I did not expect. Here's the tour program, and it's actually funny because I actually booked this before I was married, because I got married the November 2018. We're saying like you could, when you upgraded to the VIP to meet them, if you put your emailed your name in, you could get your name in the program. I'm actually looking for my name, and you had to do it before a certain date, and I was like, well, my name's Teresa Lamey. I was like, but I'm not going to be Lamey when I go. So I actually typed in Teresa Banner. But yeah, it was my first time using my married name, and obviously the tour program that you got was signed, and meeting them was great fun. James recognised me, and some of the other girls that I was chatting to had come over from the States, so he upgraded us and another girl from Scotland to the OMFG zone, and amazing. I've still actually got some of the confetti from the gig. This was the bag you got, and I've still got some of the confetti from that gig because tour memories. I remember being in the OMFG zone, and something hit my forehead, like right here. So I like looked to the floor, and I was like bent down and picked it up, and it was Matt's plectrum, like smacked me right in the middle of the head, right here. And it was so, I was like, what the hell is that? Why are you throwing something on my head? But yeah, I still have the plectrum. I kept it. But yeah, first time I've ever caught anything really at a gig apart from Matt's song sheet. But it must be something with Matt. It's always Matt. 4th of May 2019, me and my mum went to see Ollie Mez again. Yeah, that was fun. My mum wasn't too well that gig, and we were at the back, but it was still an amazing night. There's some pictures, and again, he always puts on an amazing show, and we always have such a laugh. I saw McFly in 2016 on their anthology tour, and I actually got VIP, so you were closer to the front. I wasn't right at the front. And that gig was like, they done like 3 nights in a row, but I was the last night, if I remember correctly, because I could only go to last night because of work, because it delayed the tour and stuff like that. But that was insane that night. I've always loved McFly, and they always put on an amazing show. There's the tour, and yeah, that one was insane seeing them again, because seeing them just as McFly and not McBusted, it was, and they played every single song from their album, like for the 3 nights. Great fun. 31st of August 2019 was when I saw Danny Jones from McFly, just on his own and solo, and I was a bit I'm always skeptical of people on their own after they've been in a band, but Danny's a great laugh. He's so funny. He put on an amazing show, just on his own. I then met, it must have been September, if I can remember, I met Dougie at his book signing, first time meeting a member of McFly, and I was insanely excited about this. Dougie asked if I was seeing McFly on tour next year, and I said yes, which obviously sadly hasn't gone ahead. And then he said he always liked the SECC, the old Glasgow venue, because you could see people leaving and just boo them as they left. It was great. He was so lovely. And then 20th of November 2019, me and my husband went to see Jack Whitehall. That was so much fun. That was for his birthday, and the tour was really good, really funny, and yeah, it was a good night out. 26th of November 2019, I saw Youngblood at the Liquid Room, and I hadn't been to that venue since the Elliot Minor gig, and I was a bit nervous about going on my own, being I was going to say older fan, but you know what I mean. I was, how old was I then? 27, seeing Youngblood, but his gig was insane, and it being such a small compact venue, the energy, and his fans are so respectful and nice to each other. It was amazing being in a gig like that. 1st of December 2019 was when I met Tom Fletcher at his book event. It was actually a children's book event, but I went anyway. Who's going to stop me meeting Tom? And that was fun. We went to the back of the line, towards the back of the line for meeting him, and let all the kids go in front, because we were just like, let the kids go first, because it was a kids event. But he put on a Q&A, and he sang some songs, and then he met everyone and signed their books. It was great. And then it was, when was it that we saw Halsey, me and my husband? 7th of March 2020, just before lockdown, we managed to get this one in. It was my husband Mikey's first gig, and we went to see Halsey. That was insane. I was so nervous that the gig was going to get cancelled, and I was like, it's my husband's first gig, we need to go see Halsey, and luckily it went ahead. But she put on an insane show. Apart from Katy Perry and the Saturdays that I went to see in 2014, that was at, what's the Armadillo in Glasgow? This was back in 2014 that I saw the Saturdays, and I completely forgot to put them in. Because, yeah, I went with my ex, which, yeah, that's probably why I forgot that one. But she was the only like female artist that I'd actually seen Halsey. And she put on an insane show, and she had outfit changes, and how flexible is this woman? Insane. I just remember looking at my husband's face during the gig and seeing him like experience what I did when I first went to gigs. You never lose that awe feeling, like when you're just looking up at an artist and you're like, you never lose that. Those are all the gigs I've been to so far. I'm trying to think, have I actually forgotten any? No, I think that's all of them. And I did have 6 gigs booked for 2020, which was Halsey, who we went to. I was supposed to see McFly as well, Niall Horan, Harry Styles, Five Sauce and Youngblood, which sadly all of them but Niall have been pushed back to next year. And I'm really hoping that I can still go. And who knows what the situation is going to be next year and where I'm going to be in life next year. But gigs is one of the many places that I feel free and just caught up in the music. And I don't think anyone will disagree with me. Gigs are an amazing experience. And I really hope that I can go to many, many, many more.